Hello everyone, welcome to my book reviews for October. It was a spooky month, so I got through 6 thriller/horror books, and I gotta say I really enjoyed all of them. So I'll start with this first book. This is SLEWFOOT, and it's by Brom. So he not only drew the illustrations in this book, but he wrote the book also. So there are a few illustrations throughout, and then each chapter starts with an illustration. So this book is actually on sale for $7.49 on Book Outlet. They're having, quite a few months ago they had a sale too. It lasted quite a while. Most of their books were $7.49 or less. So they have another one of those sales going on right now. So yeah, it's a very good price for this. So I really enjoyed this. I hope to read some more of his books. This takes place in 1666 in Connecticut. This young woman called Abatha has moved from England to America, and she has actually married into this Puritan community. She's not Puritan herself, but she does have a difficult time adjusting to the strictness of the Puritan ways and that sort of thing. And her brother-in-law is just a nasty dude. He wants to take over her and her husband's farm, and they're trying to do everything to kind of keep the farm. And also, there is this kind of a myth of this demon, devil. They call him SLEWFOOT. The colonists call him SLEWFOOT. And actually he's an ancient spirit, and the wild folk call him Father, Slayer, or Protector. So Abatha's husband ends up actually passing away, and her brother-in-law is trying to literally steal the farm from her, and she's doing everything she can to keep the farm. So she actually ends up meeting this SLEWFOOT, and he ends up helping her to save the farm for her. And so it's basically a battle between pagan and Puritan, one that threatens to destroy the entire village, leaving nothing but ashes and bloodshed in its wake. So yeah, there is some like body horror, there's some torture, and that's just somewhat graphic. But I just absolutely love this guy's writing style. It's lyrical without being too flowery. I don't know, I just was really captivated by the reading, and it's just a real page turner to me. I really would like to try out some other books of his, but I really enjoyed that one. And the next book I read was Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. So previously I read The Last Time She Lied, and I really enjoyed that one. I think I gave it like a 4.5 stars. And it was this woman who went back to this camp when she was a teenager, and her 3 friends had just mysteriously disappeared, never to be found again. And then she goes back as an adult to find out what happened. So I really enjoyed that one. So Home Before Dark, so this, when this woman returns to this house, her parents had bought it when she was about 4 years old, and it's located kind of isolated in this Vermont woods, and it's a big mansion. There was deaths and that sort of thing in the past in this house. So her parents move in when she's about 4 years old, and all these mysterious things happen, and they end up just taking off and abandoning the house after about 3 weeks because of all the spooky stuff was happening. Then her father writes a book similar to like Amityville Horror, where this family experienced all these spooky things, and they wrote a book, and movie was made, etc., etc. So the father ends up writing this book about their experiences, and she was only 4 years old, so she doesn't really remember too much, and she really kind of wonders if her father didn't exaggerate or just make all this up just to make some money and become famous and that sort of thing. Her father passes away, and in the will he leaves this house to her, and she's like, I thought they sold that or just abandoned it. Like, he told me never to go back to this house, yet he's leaving this house for me. So she ends up going to this house. She's going to fix it up and sell it and then just forget about it. But when she gets there, all these strange, mysterious things are happening, just like what happened in the book. And there's actually more than one twist. I think there's like a couple of twists at the end of the story. One of them was like, I don't know, just there's a few plot holes that just didn't really connect for me at the end. But it was still a good book. I did enjoy it. I give this about 4 stars anyhow. So, and then the next book was by T. Kingfisher, and this is Nettle and Bone, and I just absolutely love that cover. And that's the end pages there. So, so this young girl, she's a third-born daughter in the family, and she is raised in a convent. And her one sister ended up marrying this prince, and she died within a few months. And then her second sister went and married this prince. And then she finds out that this prince is very cruel and abusive to her sister, and she kind of wants to go and save her sister. So this, I know I read the one review on this, and there's a lot of people who are actually autistic saying she just seems like she may have autism, and this is from like reviewers who are autistic themselves. So yeah, she just has difficulty with change and understanding people and that sort of thing. So so she decides to go to this witch and to get help to rescue her sister. So she has to build a dog of bones, sew a cloak of nettles, and capture moonlight in a jar and that sort of thing. So she it's kind of like an adult fairy tale in a way. There's great characters along the way. It's very serious in parts, and then they throw in all this great humor with these characters and that. So there's different people helping her on this quest to save her sister. So she is joined by a disgraced ex-knight, a reluctant fairy godmother, and a grave witch, and her chicken, who is possessed by a demon, which adds a lot of humor to the story and that. So she has to somehow, with the help of these others, rescue her sister and that sort of thing. So it was just a fun read. I had fun with it. I give it about a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I like the writing. I just like the humor. It was just a nice kind of escape. And then this is HORRORSTOR by Grady Hendrix. And yes, it looks like an IKEA catalog. This store, what did they call it now? Oh, Orsk. So they are kind of a ripoff of IKEA. And they notice that sometimes when they come in each morning, the employees just find the couches are all dirty and there's things that are broken and that sort of thing. So the manager asked a couple of the people to stay behind one night and just to figure out who's actually doing all this stuff. And yeah, it goes right off the rails. And yeah, it was fun. I'd probably give it like about a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I mean, there was scary, spooky, eerie parts, but I mean, it didn't scare me or anything like that. They had some humorous parts in it and that sort of thing. And yeah, it went right off the rails. I don't know if there's going to be a sequel to this or not, because it kind of, well, it wasn't a cliffhanger at the end, but you're kind of wondering if there's going to be another book or not. But yeah, it's about 3.5, well, let's say 3.75 stars. I mean, it was a fun read. It was okay. So the next book is by Helena Kogan, and this is The Witchling's Girl. And yeah, I really enjoyed this one. You don't really know when this took place or where it took place. It's kind of an alternate universe, I suppose, and it's certainly back in the day when they still had horse and buggy and everything like that. But in each village or town, they would have a witchling, and they would live in this specific house that was kind of magical and that sort of thing. And the witchling was actually a healer, a midwife, and they also, when someone passed away, they would take them to the underworld to pass them on. And so this one young girl finds out that she can bring all these small dead animals to life, and her mother sees her one day and realizes she has to give her up to become a witchling. So she takes her daughter to the witchling house, and she is like apprenticed as a witchling. And there is a war going on. The people in the north are invading the people in the south. And it shows the horrors of war and how it affects different towns and people and that sort of thing. So this young witchling girl is, she's just terrified. Like, she's being ripped away from her family to become a witchling and that sort of thing. So along the way, you see her progression as she matures more and comes to accept it and that sort of thing. And yeah, I really, it's just really unique. They're not really, there's witches and then there's witchlings. So that difference is explained, but I just really enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed how she healed certain people and all the stuff around how they treated people who were dying, what they did after, and yeah, about a 4-star for me. I just thought it was very unique and well written. And then the last book is by S.T. Gibson, and this is Dowry of Blood. So I heard so many good things about this. So I have read quite my share of vampire books, so many. Probably my favorite is Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice. I really did like that series. It's actually very, very well written, very lyrical. And also James Rollins did a very good trilogy about these vampires, and that was so good. And I can't remember, I think it was called the Sanguine series, just can't quite remember, but a series by James Rollins. It was so good. So yeah, I heard so many good things about this book. So the main character is basically a bride of Dracula, and then over the years and centuries he takes on another bride, and then he takes on this other gentleman, and they just kind of live together for centuries. And it's actually just basically a story of abuse. Well, Dracula, they never really name him, but this character is it's his way or the highway. He is abusive, very possessive, etc., etc. And you know at the very beginning of the story that this one bride is eventually going to kill him. And throughout the story, you just see what her reasoning is behind killing him. And yeah, it's kind of hard to feel sorry for these characters because they go around and, you know, they're killing people so they can live. Oh, I just got to cool off. Okay, sorry, just kind of overheated. But yeah, it's kind of hard to feel sorry for these people, but you can understand why she eventually did kill Dracula. I mean, that's not given any spoilers. It's basically written as a letter from her to Dracula, and why she's explaining why she eventually had to do what she did. The writing is very lyrical. It's beautiful. it's very atmospheric and very lush. I just love the writing style of this. I mean, it could have been, this is about vampires, obviously, but it could have been just about anyone who's been in a very abusive relationship that they can't really get away from and that sort of thing, and all the psychological things that go through people's minds when they're in that kind of relationship and that sort of thing. So yeah, it was definitely like a 4.5 star for me. So those are the books that I read, and then I've gone through one book already this month, and right now I am reading Girl with a Pearl Earring by Tracy Chevalier, which was made into a movie, I think about 20 years ago, with Scarlett Johansson. Very slow pace, but it's just very atmospheric, and I really do like the writing style. And I was out a couple days ago, and I ended up picking up Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. So I've heard so many good things about this, and it finally came back out in paperback, so I decided to pick that one up. And this is by C.J. Cook, and I did read The Lighthouse Witches, I think, a few months ago, and I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of plot holes, but I did really enjoy it. And this is the new one that I think just came out in October, and this is The Ghost Woods. And oh, that cover is just beautiful. And this one takes place in deep in the forest in Scotland, and it is a house called Lycan Hall. And this place is shrouded in folklore. There's stories of ghosts, of witches, of a child who's not quite a child. And then it takes place in two time periods. So 1965, this young woman is pregnant, and anyone in those days, they were sent away and they gave birth in these houses and that sort of thing. And I think they also tell a story around 1950 of this other young woman who gave birth there. So she ends up going there, and she suspects the proprietors are hiding something, and then she meets this mysterious woman and this young boy who live on the grounds, and they begin to unpick the secrets of this place. So when I was in the store, I just kind of Googled it, Goodreads, and it only had about 400 reviews so far, but it was like, the average rating was like 4.2, so it's got very good ratings so far. But yeah, that sounds really, really good. So that's it. I hope you have a really great reading month, and everyone take care. Happy reading, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.